Hey there, welcome to Main Street Living. I'm Cheryl Nelson.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Quincy Carr.
And I'm Danielle Alvari.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, so good to see your beautiful faces.
You too. I know.
Likewise.
It's funny. We actually do miss each other because we have so much fun when we're doing this show, don't we?
Yeah,
this is the most contact I get all week.
and in some way, shape, or form, we are color coordinating nicely.
Yes.
Like how
we kind of are, aren't we? Yeah. Backgrounds are all different colors. We're all from home, obviously, like so many of you watching. And we're trying to find things to do, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, luckily, for those of us who are very much into culture, arts, museum, the Google Arts and Culture team has teamed up with over 2,500 museums and exhibits to show us virtual tours and have online exhibits so that you can go to museums without actually having to go to them. And this is a pretty cool thing, I think.
Oh my gosh, there are so many. And I'm actually going to start with one over in Europe. Check this out. You can view the Renaissance era art collection of the Medici family at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. Take a look at that. I mean, that is so cool. Have you guys ever been?
No,
I've not been.
Absolutely not.
I've been to Florence, Italy, but I've never actually been to this museum, so it looks pretty cool. And then there's another one you can check out with more than 2 million years of history and culture at the British Museum in London. And again, I've been to London, but I haven't actually been to the British Museum. And then you've also got 6,000 years of visual art at the J. Paul Getty Museum in LA, which, Danielle, that's not very far from you either. So you've got lots of stuff that you can actually check out online, which I think is really, really cool. Then the Louvre in Paris, and I've been to Paris, and again, not to the museum. I guess I've got to get more culture because I've been to a lot of these cities, but I don't go to the museums. But now you can check it out online. And this is arguably the most famous museum in Paris. It offers virtual tours of its Egyptian antiques collection, the remains of the building's moat. The Louvre was originally a fortress, and then the gilded vaulted ceilings of the Galerie de Poland. However, if you want to peek at the Mona Lisa, you will have to see it in person. So I guess they're not giving that away.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. And they have so many other things. Like you can go like where I live, or where we actually live here, Cheryl, in coastal Virginia, Washington, D.C., the Smithsonian Magazine, they're offering online interactive tours as well with a nice building design and exhibition halls of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I still haven't had a chance to get there, but that's one of the things that I definitely want to take my daughter to. I've heard it's you cannot get through that museum in one day. It's so much history. So
it's
for the homeschoolers.
Yeah,
for the homeschoolers, right? Something to do.
Well, sure, when we can finally leave the house.
No, for homeschooling though, you can check out everything online for now.
Yeah,
great way to get some culture, education. Yeah, I think that's
absolutely.
a great idea. And guys, I hope you can't hear, but my cat is just meowing like crazy.
That's what that is.
You hear it? No, actually meowing. This is what happens when my cats are here during the day, apparently, and I'm usually not. They mouse, and they don't mouse actual mice. They have all these toys everywhere, and they go and find them, and then they bring them to me.
Hold on, how many cats do you have?
I've got 4. I've got 4 cats.
4 cats, Cheryl. Oh my God.
I know. Hashtag cat lady. That's me.
Right. Yeah, I feel a sneeze coming on all of a sudden. It's like,
no, you don't. Do you guys have pets?
I wish I had a pet. I'm dying to get a dog. I really want a corgi because I love the little short legs.
Yeah.
Short legs. Yeah, that'd be easy to tire out, right? Especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Can't walk them that far. Yeah.
To watch the legs move faster than me. I just had 1 cat, and that was it.
Okay.
Was it for you?
Yeah, about 10 years. And
it
then
seems like a sensitive
recently,
subject. You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Tough.
Well, we have so much coming up on Main Street Living today. And coming up after this, we're actually going to talk to 2 moms who are making an impact during this global pandemic. You don't want to miss this.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Cheryl, please tell me you have some good news in the midst of all of this pandemic.
This next story, it really warmed my heart because there are some people who have made something very good out of something very scary. So imagine you're a spouse and your spouse works in the ER as a doctor, and then you have all this anxiety that perhaps your family could get sick. Well, that's what happened to one woman, but she actually stepped up and made something amazing out of it. So now we want to introduce to the show Emily Phillips. She's the founder of RVs for MDs. Emily, welcome to Main Street Living. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
So tell us your story. You've got a full-time job. You've got several children. Your spouse is working as an ER doctor, and this created a lot of anxiety, didn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely did. About 4 weeks ago, we were so nervous about what we were going to do. Were we going to have to go buy a house, another house, get an apartment, move into a hotel? Every time he would walk in the house, I would just get so anxious. He would touch his face or touch the microwave. And we have a little baby, a 6-month-old. My son has asthma, and I have a 5-year-old daughter, and I have asthma as well.
So you've got some high-risk situations going on there. I mean, asthma is not something that you want to play around with during a pandemic. So that's something to think about. And this really got you thinking, didn't it? And it made you really latch on to something that became huge.
Yeah, it was actually funny. It was my mom's idea. She said, why don't you do a post and see if somebody could rent you an RV or a camper so that Jason could stay on your property but not expose the family. So within 5 minutes, I thought, okay. And I did the post, and then Holly Haggard offered hers immediately. And then somebody else made a post and said they needed an RV. And so I said, let me give them this one, because her husband was even in a higher risk situation. And within 5 minutes later, I got another one. And Holly and I looked at each other and said, let's make this a thing. And we literally, it was Tuesday at 5 o'clock on March 24th. We started the group. And we now have over 1,100 matches. We have 30,000 people in our group. We have no platform. Everything's been done manually. We have hundreds of amazing volunteers. The volunteers have done everything from IT to PR to monitoring the posts to helping with matching, assistance. I mean, it's like running a Fortune 500 company and no one's making a dime.
And this is not easy to do, start up something like this, and so quickly too, to be so successful. So are you saying that people are they renting, or are they donating their RVs? How does it work?
They're just donating their homes to complete strangers.
Oh my goodness.
Anything like it my whole life. I really feel like God just put his hand on our back and just said, go as fast as you can. This is what we're going to do. It's really impacted the donor, the receiver, the volunteer, and the audience watching, because people come home and they say they had a horrible day or they're stressed out about the pandemic. So they go to our page to watch, beautiful stories like a U.S. Marine saying he can fight for his country again now because he donated his RV to a paramedic that has a disabled son, and now they're friends and they call each other family now. I mean, we will never know the depths, I think, of what this has done.
And how does it work? I mean, how do you match people? Is it the same location? Can anybody sign up? Is there certain criteria you have to meet?
So all you have to do is go to our Facebook page and like it and follow it. And then there's a pinned post that says, click here if you own an RV or you need an RV. And then they'll post that I have an RV available, or they'll post a picture of themselves. I'm a healthcare worker and I need an RV, and here's why. And then we have state representatives in every state, and they all have their own teams. And then they reach out, and then we work tirelessly through the night until that person gets matched. Sometimes they'll self-match because people will start commenting on the post, and then they'll self-match before we get to them.
And before we go, why is this so important to you? I mean, because originally you were just looking for a place for you and your family, to be separate. And now look what you're doing. What does it mean to you?
I'm excited. I was joking with one of my friends the other day. I said, I've always wanted to sort of do something for the community, and I feel like I can kind of check the box off with that now. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I've never been able to make anything like this go this fast. But the skills that God gave me were just a few, and that was selling, connecting, lighting fires, and recruiting people. And I was able to do those things. And now everybody else is kind of keeping that flame burning. So I just kind of did what became naturally to me.
Absolutely. Well, Emily, you are a godsend and you are helping so many people. Congratulations to you for everything you've accomplished, and you are helping so many. We appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you to you guys for getting this story out.
Absolutely. Oh, that was such a heartwarming story.
Absolutely. That was a great story. Great story. Heartfelt. I enjoyed it. So, you know what? I see everybody, is moving around.
You already know. Quincy knows I've been dying to play a game of passion. We are finally able to do it. All right, go long. Quincy, you ready?
Okay.
Tally for Virginia. Here we go.
All right. Well, where's it? Oh, I got it. Hey, look, when we come back, is missing live sports during the pandemic driving you crazy? Well, stick around and buckle up. We got something coming up next.
Hey there. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to Main Street Living.
Yeah. Good to see you guys. I mean, not a lot of live sports going on right now, so you guys know I'm jonesing for that stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's driving me
What about
crazy.
you?
I don't know about you. Yeah. I can't handle this. I'm needing my sports.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, fortunately, one sport has found a way to keep their foot on the gas. It's called iRacing.
I am Tom Gregory, hanging out on Main Street with Larry McReynolds, one of the greatest crew chiefs in NASCAR history, and now sports analyst on Fox NASCAR and SiriusXM NASCAR on track. And Landon, Cassill. Landon is a NASCAR driver and has been a huge proponent of this iRacing that is just taking the country by storm. Larry, I have to ask you, with the fact that we're under this coronavirus pandemic and there is no live sport, and all of a sudden, flipping channel, someone sees, well, NASCAR? It's NASCAR's live? What's going on? Larry?
Yeah, I am very proud of my bosses at Fox and FS1, because they could have just rolled over and let's just play old races until we get back to the track racing. But they've been very aggressive, along with the folks at iRacing, the cooperation of NASCAR, all of these drivers like Landon, Cassill, and we're making this happen, and we're not taking our eye off of what's going on in our country and in our world right now. That's where our main focus and thoughts and prayers are. But if we can create something on Sunday afternoon for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and maybe be a distraction to the viewer and to the fan on what's going on in our lives right now, we're just going to follow the NASCAR schedule as it would be scheduled until we're truly back at the track.
Landon, you've been a big proponent of iRacing. Are you surprised that it's been such a smash hit?
I am surprised because I just never imagined it. But when you really look at the platform and look at the quality that's on it, iRacing has been building this for a decade. This isn't an overnight success. And we ran our first race at Homestead, and after that race, there was so much energy because of our TV ratings. I had sponsors calling me that wanted to pay me to drive a car in the virtual world. And I looked at that and I said, okay, what do I do with this? I wasn't expecting this. So I'm gonna hire a couple people that were just laid off from their jobs because of this pandemic, and I'm gonna pay them to do what they do professionally, make content for me, build out a brand and build out an image, and we're gonna focus on this for the next 2 months.
This is not too far removed from your training, though, right? You have done iRacing, and other drivers have used these techniques, this format, to get better.
Yes, and on a really large scale, the manufacturers have multi-million-dollar simulators that they've built that the drivers actually go to and drive on. To have one in your house, I mean, I'm in my basement right now. I know it doesn't look that way, but I'm in my basement right now. So to have one in your house is kind of another level of, maybe I'm not in a fully immersive motion simulator, but I'm driving a car that is modeled off of the real car that I race for a living. I'm driving on tracks that are modeled off of the real tracks that I race on. Really, the coolest part is, normally on iRacing, I'm racing against iRacers who I don't maybe know them. I only know them from the platform. But now on Sundays, I'm racing against guys that I race against every week.
We're running out of time here, but I have to ask you one question, both of you. when America emerges from this, and it will, you guys get to get back to the track. What's the one thing you miss right now?
Well, I know
Larry?
for me, it's just being in that garage area and seeing the guys that I see in week and week out. I actually spoke with 2 or 3 crew chiefs just earlier today. Actually, they're crew chiefs that have drivers that are racing in this iRacing Pro Series event. And I just wanted to kind of get their take on it. And they said they're really glad their driver's doing it because if nothing else, it's keeping them sharp. On Sunday, those guys are at the mercy of their equipment. But with these fixed setups and these races we're running, one, it truly measures talent, but it also measures the experience level of driving an iRacing machine.
Landon, what are you going to be glad to get back to when you do get to the tracks?
Like Larry said, it's the people. I mean, it's a physical race car. It's gonna be nice to sit in a real race car and feel a real race car, feel the weight on my body. But it's knowing that there are guys in our sport, men and women, that they have very specialized jobs. I'm looking forward to putting those people back to work and building us cars to race.
And it's good that you're thinking about those people at this time. You will get out on the track. It will happen soon. But until then, we have iRacing. I have to thank Larry McReynolds and Landon Cassill for being on Main Street with us today. Until we see you guys again, either virtually or really.
Yeah.
You guys stay healthy. Thank you very much for being on Main Street.
There you have it. Taking off. And even NASCAR legends, real NASCAR driving, even Jeff Gordon, right, taking place from you. So kind of amazing and kind of inspiring because I'm a terrible actual driver. So virtual driving might be the road. Might be the way to go.
You're a terrible driver. Have you had lots of tickets, accidents? What?
Cheryl, I don't want to go into it, but yeah, it's safe when I'm not on the road. So this is great. Everyone is safer at home with me, not on the road personally.
Noted.
But yeah. If you come to California, watch out. Stay tuned. Coming up, we will have some more tips for you to stay connected while you're at home.
Well, welcome back to Main Street Living. We are getting a lot of good information here. And, just a few months ago, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and it has drastically changed the interaction that we have amongst each other. And now more than ever, it's important for us to be connected with family members, which begs the question, how do we balance human connection with social distancing? Well, that's why we have a good friend of ours. Welcome to the show, Andrea Ditton, communications specialist. It's going to help us get through this. How are you doing today, Andrea?
Great. How are you, Quincy?
I am doing well. I'm happy to talk to somebody, because it's hard to get out and see people and just engage. And as far as engaging goes, we are going Facebook Live. So we're going to allow some of the viewers or just anyone who's viewing to chime in. If you have a comment, please leave the comment and we'll see it live and we'll allow Andrea to answer that question. Are you okay with that?
I'm with that. Let's do it.
Cool. Well, here's my first question. Now, you're a senior communications specialist with Cox, in the public affairs department. So you are pretty well versed in staying in communication with people, but you're a grandmother and you've been communicating for the last 50 weeks plus with your daughter and grandson over 4,000 miles away. Where are they located?
They're in Naples, Italy. They're stationed there. Her husband is stationed in Naples. So they've been there for 3 years now, time. So lots and lots of practicing, doing social distancing way before it was COVID related. So
absolutely. But you've had a chance over this past year to experience, I think his name is Oliver, right?
His name's Oliver. Yeah. So we've real fortunate. I did get to be there in person right after he was born, within hours. But after that, had to come back here to the States and leave her. And it's been really hard to be able to be there for her as a mom, because you want to be able to provide all that advice, babysitting, all the support you'd want to, and you have to do it all from far away. So lots of connection with, we message on WhatsApp. We actually use Facebook a lot to send messages. We also do FaceTime calls. So we've been able to look at Like I can pull up a book and I'll have the text here.
Uh-huh.
I can read a book that she has there. Like we've said Goodnight Moon here. Now she's doing little shark things. He really likes that book. So I get to watch how he engages. And and he's even like, "Are you watching, Grandma?" He's like, he looks over to make sure I'm still looking. And he just has the brightest smile when he answers. He knows the FaceTime ring now. He's known it for months. He's known what sound means, and he is ready smiling. So really gotten to do all kinds of neat things and watching him take his first bite of food or books if he's hungry for that. So we've really gotten to engage a lot virtually, and I've really got to know him that way.
And we actually have a question from someone that's tuning in. I think a question from Karen, if we can show that. It says, are you tech savvy, or is all of this pretty easy for the average Joe? So,
well, it depends who you ask. If you ask my kids, I am not tech savvy. I do my best. They laugh at me with trying to learn stuff, and I'll ask them questions. But why isn't this working on my phone? So they laugh at me. But I have some knowledge, but I would not consider myself an expert at all. It's been a lot of learning on the go and trying to figure out how to make these things work for us in this environment now.
It's interesting because my mother, like, I would try to get her to do, like FaceTime and all that type of stuff. So, as long as you just get a little bit of help from the younger group of people that can help you do it, then you'll get past all the little stuff. Like, all up on the do you see me?
Am I on? Can you see me?
Right. It's like, back up, Mom, and I can see a lot more than your nose, okay? Right. Andrea, we certainly do appreciate everything that you do, at Cox via communicating and keeping everyone communicating. But I know it's tough during these times being away from your family. So we appreciate these tips that you have shared with us. And hopefully if some of our viewers can take that and use that. So thank you very much for being a part of the show today.
Thanks so much, Quincy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when we come back, we are going to spend a day in the life of a New York City mother and teacher. You guys got to stay with us and see that.
Welcome back to Main Street Living, the fastest hands in the pandemic right there. You guys you ever do that, the cough sneeze?
Oh yeah.
I never had a time to get it like that. You know what? Speaking of hands, how about a round of applause for all the teachers across the country doing their jobs remotely? In fact, here's a quick glimpse of what a mother and a teacher who's currently caring for her family in New York City has to endure. You guys got to check this out.
Hi, I'm Carly. I live in New York City, and I'm a teacher for the Department of Education. I teach kindergarten. And here's a little glimpse of how my life has changed since the pandemic. We live in New York City, so our living space is not huge. We have a 10-month-old son. And being that daycare is closed down, we are both now stay-at-home parents as well as working parents. Here is my working station, this part of the dining room table. So normally I go into my Google Classroom and check work from the previous day, contact parents, making sure everything's okay. Some of them have the virus. It's been a little bit tough. I'm trying to be as lenient as possible because I understand what they're going through. This is it for the morning. I just put Roman down for his morning nap. I have my cart, I have my gloves, I have my scarf that I'm gonna wear over my mouth. I'm waiting for the elevator and one opened up, but there were people in it and you're not allowed to ride the elevator with people that are not in your family. So I'm waiting for the next one. And it's empty. Shopping is very different. The line to get into Trader Joe's was over an hour and blocks long, and we're all standing 6 feet apart. It's about 5 o'clock, and usually it's extremely packed, and there's like barely any cars on the road. No one. What time is it?
7 o'clock.
Every night at 7 o'clock, we hear all the cheering for the healthcare workers and essential workers. New York is definitely a different place. We can't wait to get back to seeing our family and friends. Roman can't wait. And I hope everyone stays safe. Bye.
Wow, what a touching story and great insight, on what she has to do. Because what a lot of people are forgetting is that, some of the teachers also have families too. And so they may be teaching their kids what another teacher has been teaching them. So it's pretty interesting.
So moving to watch that piece. And Quincy, I know that you have kids and you probably relate somewhat.
Just a lot of passing it on to her mother to teach. I'm just a PE coach. That's all I am.
No homeschooling for you then, huh?
Not at all. Not at all. Would not make the cut.
Danielle, would you make a good homeschool teacher?
Probably not in the space I have, to be honest. It's a little tight. I can relate to her small space in New York, Los Angeles, and also the lines at Trader Joe's. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy to see that. And I mean, there's lines everywhere you go. I mean, even trying to get into a hospital now, there's lines, like not anybody can walk in there. And in fact, coming up on Main Street Living, we will talk with a woman and she will share her experience about giving birth during the COVID-19 pandemic. You got to stick around for this one.
Hey, welcome back to Main Street Living, everybody. Cheryl, Danielle, I know we've had a great show so far. It's about to get a little bit more interesting, huh?
I'm looking forward to this one, Danielle.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we all know Main Street Living, not the first of its kind. Actually, we have a sister show based out of Virginia called 757 Living, excuse me. And today we get to talk to one of our hosts from that show, Ashley Fish, who just gave birth on April 10th and still looks this radiant. Ashley, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. Makeup. It's the magic of makeup.
Oh, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. So Ashley, you got to tell us, what was it like giving birth during this pandemic?
I'm somebody who has anxiety anyways. So I was really scared going into like all of this, especially like going into the hospital. But to be honest, you get to the hospital and it's kind of a ghost town. You really don't see a lot of other people there. I think people are kind of staying away from the hospitals because they don't want to get anywhere near the virus. So to be honest, it was the exact opposite. I thought I was going to have all this anxiety, but once you get to the hospital, basically they ask you some questions about, who you've been around, whether you've come into contact with anyone with the virus. They take your temperature. And then once they're done with that, they send you up to your floor. And especially if you're there to have a baby, like I was, everything else just kind of washes away. And here in Virginia, at least, they're only allowing your partner in with you. And that was another source of anxiety. But because, people want to have their moms there, their best friends. But to be honest, it was really kind of special because, you're just there for each other and the rest of the world doesn't matter. And it's kind of a really neat experience. So if I could tell new moms anything that are going to the hospital around this time, it's, hey, just enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's a special time. Yeah.
That's not even what I would expect. And I guess, speaking of expectations, I mean, I know this is your first child, right? So did everything go according to what you thought, or what was most surprising to you?
Oh, well, baby was,
because he was early.
He was over a month early, and he was also breech, so his head was in my ribs. Didn't make first couple days easy for mom over here. But we did a C-section, and they took him out, and he was fine at first, but then they had to rush him off to a special care unit. And I also had some complications. I lost a lot of blood, and for like 12 hours, I couldn't see.
Oh my God.
But even, yeah, it was a crazy 12 to 24 hours. He ended up having to stay in the NICU for a little bit, basically getting some extra care. So thank you so much to all the doctors and nurses in the special care unit at Centura Norfolk General, because you guys rock. But yeah, it was crazy to say the least. And then he stayed there for a couple of days past when we were discharged. But when we left, it's one of those things where you go, holy crap, my baby, had all these monitors and feeding tubes, and now I'm taking him home and you're not giving me any of that to support us.
Right.
So yeah, I spend a lot of time watching him breathe.
So what now though? Because you guys can't go outside really as much, right? So are you guys going out? Are you taking walks? How has that kind of affected things?
No, we haven't been taking walks or anything yet, mostly because I had a C-section, so I'm really not supposed to yet. But once we can, we will. We'll take walks. Just us as a little family of 3. I think it's good to, at least get some sunshine and some fresh air.
Awesome. And how is baby Adrian doing now?
He is great. He is the perfect baby. He's actually right here.
Is he? Oh my! He's so quiet. We didn't even know he was there.
I know. He's not gonna like the light, but say hi, buddy. Hi.
Oh, what a sweet. Made for the camera already. What jumper is he rocking there?
It's just some little animals. There's a whale and a tiger and a bear. Basically, since he was born early, he was way small. So while we were in the hospital, a bunch of our friends sent us a bunch of preemie clothes. So.
Oh. So one last question for you. What advice would you give to new mothers at this time?
I would say kind of throw your birth plan out the window. Take it as it comes and enjoy it for what it is. Even if you can only have your partner there, count that as special time that you get to have with your partner, and just really, cherish the moments as they come.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out 757 Living. That was the original before Main Street Living. So I appreciate you so much, Ashley, and good luck with baby Adrian.
Oh, she is a rock star, and that baby is precious. So God bless them, and more power to them. And we've got so much more coming up here on Main Street Living. In fact, are you trying to cook during the quarantine, but maybe don't want to go out to the store? We will tell you how to cook with some ingredients you might already have in your pantry. Don't go away. Welcome back to Main Street Living. We love sharing your stories. And this next segment actually makes me hungry. My stomach is growling, Quincy.
Absolutely. Look, for the both of you, what do you get when you combine an appetite for Thai food with a limited budget? See, I'm very frugal. See, I tell you what you get. You get a tasty dish when you're cooking from the heart with Karen. Let's see what she has for us today.
Hi, I'm Karen. Welcome to my kitchen. Like you, I am still stuck in the house. And I'm sure you're getting tired of trying to come up with interesting things to cook when there's not a lot of ingredients on hand. And nobody wants to go grocery shopping because you have to wrap your whole body and have goggles and masks and gloves, and you're going to the motherland of germs. So we're working on finding things that we can make that are simple, that are easy, that are tasty. We can make them with ingredients you probably already have right in your pantry. And today we are going to make Thai peanut noodles. So the first thing, I've got 8 ounces of linguine boiling on the stove. And ideally you would use fettuccine, but I didn't have any. And you can use spaghetti, you can use whatever kind of pasta you want. 8 ounces for about 10 minutes in some nice salted water. And while that's going on, I'm gonna get my peanut sauce. And it's so easy and quick and so good. And let's see. Started. I've got just a bowl here, and I'm going to start out with a 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. So I'm going to just plop that in my bowl, and to that I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. So I'm going to put it in kind of slowly, and I'm going to whisk it together, because it'll get kind of messy if you just dump it in all at once. The peanut butter is kind of thick. We're going to whisk that together, and it's going to take a little bit. We are going to heat it up a little bit, which will help speed things or speed the emulsifying along. But to that, I am going to add just a few ingredients that I happen to have in my pantry. And the first one is a tablespoon of rice vinegar. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can use apple cider vinegar, you can use white vinegar, but if you have rice vinegar, even better. I'm going to add also a teaspoon of sesame oil. And if you don't have sesame oil, just you can leave it out. And you can put olive oil if you want, but you don't really need it. It's just adding a tiny bit of flavor to that. And then I'm going to add some seasoning. I've got half of a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to dump that in. I have a quarter of a teaspoon of dry ginger. All these things right in the spice rack. Still stirring, mixing. So I've got 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. I'm mixing that in there. And I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of honey. Put that in there. Now I'm just going to pop this in the microwave for about 40 seconds. And we're just about done. Make sure you take your whisk out though. Don't want metal in the microwave. Those are just about done. Actually, yeah, 40 seconds, 45. And all you're doing is heating it up so it'll kind of get a little kind of thinner, I guess. Let's see how much thinner that's gotten. You know, I'm gonna put it in just for 10 more seconds while I drain the pasta, because that's ready too. And I figured out how much this would cost to make. I just measured out the ingredients and the price of the goods, and it comes out to about less than $2.50 for this whole thing that I'm making. And this will feed 4 people. So let's see, let's pour that on top. I'm just mixing that through. It smells so delicious. I mean, this really is just as good as any of the, if you go to Thai restaurants, it's as good as anything you'll find there. I'm just gonna chop up some scallions, and these will just make a nice garnish and add a little bit of flavor. I'm just gonna sprinkle them on top at the end. We're gonna pour these out into our platter. Oh, there we go. Now, if you had any chicken that you could just kind of toss it up in a pan, throw some grilled chicken on there, scrambled egg, and kind of make it more like pad thai, mix it in with all the sauce. But I'm going to top it with my scallions. And since I happened to have 87,000 pounds of peanuts, I took about 3 tablespoons, gave those a nice rough chop. I'm just going to sprinkle those on top. And look at how beautiful and delicious that is. So thank you for stopping by. I had a great time. This was really fast and simple. I'll see you next time. We might do dessert. Next time we cook out of the pantry from the heart.
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
You're ready. The only thing I have is cat treats, and I'm not going to eat cat treats, but I'm so hungry right now.
I'm a messy eater, but I am so ready to eat right now.
I think you have to make it first, but you're a couple steps ahead. Yeah.
Here,
I wanted to eat it through the TV.
I'll give some of these to you.
Hold on.
There you go.
Virtual eating. That's how we're all going to stay in shape right now. It's virtual eating.
So true. So true. All right, guys, we're going to have more Main Street Living coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Look who I have. It's my cat, Adeline. No. Quincy, I'm feeding her some of those treats that you ate.
Yo,
is she the favorite, Cheryl?
You fed me her treats? Are you kidding me? And she's eating them the same way that I ate them from your hand. This is, you know what? I'm secretly a cat.
You are secretly.
You're one cool cat. One cool cat.
Yes, you are. And
I see what you did there.
And I don't have favorites, by the way. She's just the one who's the most tolerating of me.
Yeah. She's got beautiful eyes.
Thank you. I know she does. See, you guys have to get some pets to have at home.
I'd like to have a pet. A fish, maybe? Snake? Anyone think a snake is a good idea?
You can get a snake.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, they don't make any noise, but right before they...
You guys think that's a good idea? Oh, my gosh.
That is a good idea.
Before they wrap your neck up, they don't make any noise.
Quincy! Snake? Have you ever held a snake? I've held a snake. They're actually pretty cool.
You know what I would name my snake?
What?
You know what I would name? Kevin Durant.
Nice. I was thinking you were going with something like Slithers.
Ooh, yeah. Slithers and slimy and scaly and snakes are pretty interesting there. But guys,
that was such a. Well, I mean, I was about to just say, it was such a great show today. It looked like you was about to say the same thing.
We had great interviews. If you guys at home love the interviews as much as we did today, we also have extended versions on yourview.com, so make sure to check them out.
Yes, that's right. Make sure you do that. And make sure you join us every Monday at 9 p.m. local time as we take our next stroll down Main Street. Thanks so much for joining us today. There you go, Quincy, Danielle. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.